And welcome to another episode of 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host and producer, Logan Landers, and join me to talk about this super impressive linebacker coming out of the University of Michigan, Mr. Michael Barrett. Mr. William Yanish, the third one of the best writers right now on the web, talking about the draft, and also helps out on our videos, as well as his talent. You can see his work on firstroundmock.com. William, how you doing this afternoon, man?
I'm doing great. Doing great, man.
All right, good to hear. Good to hear. And before we turn it over to you to give your analysis on Michael Barrett, be sure if you enjoyed the episode, give us a like, follow, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a single show. We go live each and every single week. You can also check out our podcast on all major podcast streaming platforms. So, Mr. Yanish, give us your breakdown on Michael Barrett, the linebacker out of Michigan.
Oh man, I started watching film and I love the linebacker position, and I mean that's something that I played on defense, growing up in school. And this guy is definitely he's a pure linebacker, all right. At 6 foot, 239. That's actually, a pretty good size linebacker for how small and fast the NFL has gotten now. And, I mean, sorry, my earphone is screwing with me. Anyway, when I was watching him tackle, I was, seeing his just the pop that he had, closing in on a player, and just I mean how hard he hits him. I mean he had 3 forced fumbles, last year, and I mean turnovers are good, and I mean they definitely changed the game. And I mean he even ended up with 3 sacks last year, and I mean so he can rush the passer too. I mean he can play any linebacker position on the field. I mean line him up to the right places. And then watching him, I mean he was returning kicks on special teams, and tackling. I mean people don't really talk about special teams players, anymore. Well, Matthew Slater just retired, but ones like Steve Tasker from Buffalo back in the day, and just some of the pure special teams players that there are. And I mean, that's what they were good at, and that's exactly what Michael Barrett does. I mean, dude can play. I never really ever thought that I could use the word shifty for a linebacker, but this guy plays linebacker like a running back, like shifting off blocks and just doing what he does to, have those pass rush stats and, skills. And I mean, not to mention he runs a 4.5 40, and that's not bad for going 39 pounds. Solid tackler, I mean, his best position in the NFL is going to be middle linebacker, especially 4-3 base defense, 4-5 most used. But anyway, besides that, I mean, and playing for Michigan, being a team captain at Michigan, I mean, he steps up in big games. That's when he has his best stats, his best performances are in the big game. And I was thoroughly impressed when I was preparing for, this video here today, and watched film, and just I like the kid, I mean he can definitely be be useful in the NFL, whether it's special teams, whether it's, like I said, or just straight up defense. I mean, there's not a whole lot not to like about it. So
No, I mean, you bring up good points. A guy who has worked his way to his success, there's no doubt about that, has played a lot of football at Michigan, and you saw it pay off for him this past year by taking home their first national championship since 1997. And Michael Barrett, as you see on the screen here, if you're watching us on Facebook and YouTube, is an absolute gamer. We don't throw that term around here on the show a whole lot. We save it for guys who we think have the potential to change the trajectory of teams on whichever side of the ball. And Michael Barrett is a guy who could do that for your franchise if you put a pick on him. Looking at him, as Mr. Yanish said, guy is impressive. Pass game defense is off the charts. Really good in zone, as he mentioned in the 4-3. Good in his drops. He's got good mobility as well, as Mr. Yanish said. He could be one of the fastest guys running just in general, let alone a linebacker in this upcoming combine. We'll see here in just a little while. Good sideline to sideline defender as well. When you look at the defensive side of the ball by stopping the run, he is going to go after. He's chasing people, and he is most importantly showing his passion, showing his tenacity and his quickness by getting to the ball carrier, regardless of who has it. He's like just a hawk, just seeing who has that ball, and he is swarming in for an attack. That's what I think Michael Barrett is. He's a hawk out there on defense and was absolutely a captain, an anchor, a stalwart, or whatever you want to call it, on the defensive front for Michigan this past year. That's how good this guy was on a very talented. Let's not undermine how good that Michigan team was. He was a guy who stood out and someone who I think is going to drop. I don't think he is going to be a first-round talent, but as I said, he's a guy who is going to work. He's going to be in the gym day in and day out, man. And whichever team picks him up is going to get a solid player, someone who I think that once you put him in your system, he'll adapt to it very quick. He's a smart guy. As you said, his football IQ is off the chain. And I think it's someone who, give him some time to learn the defense, get adjusted to the NFL, because we see a lot with defensive players, takes them a little bit of an adjustment just for the speed-wise to adapting to wide receivers and tight ends, who these guys haven't seen move that quick. Give him a little bit of time, and I think this guy could shine in a couple of seasons for whoever drafts him in just a few short weeks. Well, Mr. William Yanish, it's been a pleasure, man, talking about Michael Barrett, linebacker out of Michigan, with you. Guys, if you want to check out our other episodes, our other draft videos, give us a follow and a like and share, of course, on Facebook and YouTube, and go check out our podcast. Until next time, guys.